Hey guys, what's up? So I have something really short to cover today. I know some of you guys asked me about the themes that I use on Visual Studio, and so I've seen a lot of covers. I've seen a lot of people covering what theme is best, right? And they review all kinds of different things about them, and that's great. But so far, what I've seen from everyone that is reviewing, no disrespect to them. I mean, all of these people, I follow their channel, so obviously I like them. I like the stuff that they put out. But there's one thing that I didn't notice, or that I did notice actually, that I did notice is that they're basically talking about what they like. What are their preferences, right? But I wanted to actually bring up a new angle on this stuff, right? To me, it's not really so much about preference. I mean, preference does play a factor, obviously, but it's not really so much about preference. It's more so about the lighting in the room, okay? See, I'm big in user experience. So when I design, I make decisions on the website that I'm going to build on whether it's going to have a light background or a dark background, depending on where this website is going to be mostly viewed at, right? So if it's going to be and used mostly in an office environment and things like that, then the dark background is fine because there isn't a whole lot of lighting, there isn't a whole lot of light in the room, so it's artificial light basically. It's your the lamps or around the room or whatever. But wherever you're going to use a website like that's going to be displayed on a mobile and things like that, and then it's going to have natural light coming in, then the dark themes or the dark backgrounds are going to present a problem. You're gonna see some glare. You're gonna see some some lose a lot of contrast in the design, in the screen, in the colors. So so what I do basically is, as you can see, I have these big windows right next to me, right? And they do provide a lot of light. They do provide a lot of light for me. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, right? And especially for recording, since I don't have like all the other YouTubers out there, they have these huge lights things out here. So I don't. My cat is going crazy. Anyway, so I don't have that kind of stuff, right? So sometimes I let some light through, sometimes I don't, right? So I want to make sure that whatever I'm working on is going to be good for either a darker room, like a darker tone light room, or when I want some natural light to come in, because natural light is good for your skin, it's good for your health and for your mood, for a lot of things. So you kind of have to balance it out like that, especially now that we're working from home. We really need to make sure that we let some natural light in the room every now and then, because it could really raise your stress levels. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, especially for you guys that are working remote all day, 12 hours a day inside your office at home. So let's look over some of these that I use and why I use the ones that I use. So first of all, how do you get to the theme? How do you view the theme without having to change it all the time, change it and set it and reset it and take it off? There's a little bit of a trick here that I use, and a lot of people don't use. A lot of people actually go to the wheel cog down here, and they go to control theme right here, and then they look at it, and then they pick it, and then they select it, and then they view it. They say, okay, I like it, I don't like it. Then they go do the same thing again. What is it right here? And then they pick that one. Ugh, I don't even know why I did this. I guess I was curious about what red looked like. But yeah, definitely I don't use this one. But if you like red, go ahead. Okay. Now, so there is a better one, right? Let me first get rid of this red because this is making me mad. It's the kind of color that it just makes you mad. Well, where was I? Let's go back to Atom 1 Dark, which is the one that I had recently, okay? So there is a better way to do this, and the better way to do it, at least for Mac users, for you guys, I think is, for Windows users, I think it's Control instead of the Command key. I think for you guys is Control. So Command key or Command K or Control K, and then Command T as in Thomas or Control T as in Thomas. But that didn't work. I think you're supposed to do it faster. Let's do it again. Command K and then Command T. There it is. You just gotta hold Command the whole time. So hold the Command key or the Control key and then click K and then click K and then click T. And then you'll get this. And then with the arrows, you can go up and down and see your theme change with the arrow without having to set it and reset it. All right. So let's go over some of these, and then I'll tell you which ones I think will be most useful. Okay, but you still choose whichever one you like best. So there are some light ones here that are naturally they come with Visual Studio, like this one right here. This is a light one, and it comes with Visual Studio, and it's great. But in my opinion, I think it's these light what do you call them? These light themes. They're not really very helpful when they're too bright like this, because they put in a lot of light inside of your retina, right? They emit a lot of light into your retina, and this is when people start complaining about getting headaches and things like that when they use this bright displays all day, all the time. And also when you let all this light, you're staring at the screen and you're letting all this light go into your eye, into your retina, and then you look away, all of a sudden it's like the contrast of lighting from the screen to the rest of the room that is not as bright. It does change a little bit on your eyes. Now, how does it look like with natural light? If I open some natural light, it looks fine, okay? Because the light backgrounds are really good for natural light. So in that part, if you're not working at home and you're working in an office building, and this office building happens to have a lot of windows around, like I used to work in a building where it had like huge windows around, and it was nothing but natural light in there. I used something like this. But here's the thing, I had a bright theme emitting a lot of light into my eyes, but also the room was very bright, so it didn't matter too much to my eyes. But in a room like this, you don't want to have that kind of contrast of light going into your eyes, so keep that in mind. So going back down, this is just the same light, I think, for Visual Studio, so let's not go over that. And then there's this quiet light. So this quiet light, I don't really see that much of a difference unless they maybe quiet down the contrast. Like if you can see the borders, they're like a light purple. The accent colors are a little bit pastel colors. I don't think it really did a whole lot. For the theme, it's still kind of bright, and it's still good for natural light. So if you like something a little bit more pastel, more calm, and you work in a place with a lot of natural light, this will be good for you. And then we have this Solarize light. So keep an eye on this Solarized name in front of it, all right? Because this is a good thing. So Solarize means it has a gamma hue that is inside the colorizing of the theme, that it actually works really well for when you have natural light coming in or when you have a dark room. So like right now it's a little darker than here, and it looks fine, and it doesn't look really bright in my eyes. I can look away, look at it, look away, look at it, and it's all good. And if I let some light in, I can see without glare. So everything works great. I know it's not very pretty to look at, but it's actually pretty good. Now, one thing that I wanted to also talk about is Solarize. I have Apple products, and I have my iPad that I use at night when I go to bed to play games on it, or whatever. And one thing about it is that it has a setting in there that when it's nighttime, it turns into this Solarize type of hue like this. It turns a little like this color right here. I think Apple did that for a purpose. It did that because it knows that you're in bed in a dark room, right? It makes sense. All right, so keep that in mind. If you work in a place where the light may change all the time from dark to light and all that, something like this will work. All right, so now going into the darker themes. Abyss or Abyss? Abyss. All right. So obviously this is really, really bright, but at the same time dark. So it's contrast. It's a lot of contrast in here. So I'm a friend of dark themes. I like dark themes because mostly I'm in the room here was a little dark. And then, but the problem with this is that when I let some light in, it gets a little glary. Now all of a sudden, I can see like the trees or the sun into it, and it's just a little weird. And that's in this monitor. If I put it in this other monitor right here where it faces the window completely, then I lose almost half the screen where I can see anything. So they're pretty, but keep that in mind. It's not really very good for a lot of Lightroom. This we'll leave this for later. We'll leave that one for later, and then we have this dark Visual Studio. This came with Visual Studio in itself. It's a little bit more opaque, not so much contrast. It's clean. I think it's good when you don't have a whole lot of contrast because your eyes don't have to readjust from the foreground colors, which are the letters and the numbers, and the background color, which is the actual background itself. So when you don't have a whole lot of contrast, your eyes doesn't have to look at two different depths. Everything kind of balances out in the middle. So the dark, which is pretty close to what Visual Studio did, can be dark. Some of these I tried out. Some of these I was just messing around with. So I don't think I like this. I was just trying it out. So it's not even. So Monokai is also pretty good. It's very close to the dark for Visual Studio, the normal one that comes with Visual Studio. So it kind of gives you that contrast. The Monokai dim is actually pretty cool. I used this one for a very long while, and it does have a little bit of a glare on it, but I don't think it's that much. We already saw this. This is horrible. And then there's this Sanjak bum. So someone just sent me an email, not an email, a comment on one of my channels that they wanted me to review this for them. So actually, I like it. I like purple, so that's good. I like purple. I think has a lot of contrast. I think it's everything that is important is really in your face, so it's really good. Now, how does it work with some natural light? There's some glare in there, so that's the only problem. That's the only thing that I have against it. Other than that, it's pretty bright. It's pretty contrasty. I like that you can see that my command line blocks in the bottom, my terminals in the bottom. Hey guy. My terminals in the bottom, they look like a terminal. So they're dark. They're separate from the IDE. So they actually do look like terminals instead of just more workspace windows, like the two that you see up top. Everything else is just pretty much like any other one. So yeah, good job, Sanjak. Good job. And then we have the Solarize Dark. Back to what we were talking about, the Solarize. If you see on this right here, it's a little bit dimmer. It's got that gamma hue on it that helps you with the sunlight. So like right now in the dark, this is great. If I put some light, I can still see it fine. So see, you can still have a dark theme that plays well with natural light as long as it has a Solarize adjustment to it, like that gamma light. Okay, and this we have Tomorrow Night Blue, which is actually has some gamma in it, but not too much. We have that. All right, and now I want to go to this Atom One Dark, which I use a lot. Okay, and it's a little bit faded, and it has gamma in it. You just can see it because the background is gray. So this is why I use this one a lot. And then there is this Kobo 2, which I also use a lot, and it also does have a bit of a gamma in it, but not as much. But I do like the contrast on colors and stuff like that. So if I was going to make a decision, or if I was going to suggest one for you guys, I would say stick with anything that is solarized. Stick with anything that has a gamma adjustment into the color. And if you are a color theme maker and you're going to do something, just keep that in mind. Keep in mind, don't call your theme solarized just because you want to put them out and you want people to install them. So please keep that rule alive. Okay, don't don't make it solar. Don't call it Solarize just because Just keep it so that we know that it's Solarize. And if you and I would just suggest to please make them Solarize, because you never know when you may need to have some natural light coming in the room. And so yeah, that's what I suggest. I suggest to get any kind of theme that has some kind of gamma hue to it, so that you can get some Solarize, so you can get some natural light in the room, and you don't have to change your theme. Okay, all right. So that's all I had. I didn't have much today for you guys, just this. So I hope that did it for you. And I'm going to go ahead and pick Solarize Dark and start working with this one. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.